There is a serious problem with the way that we look at Africa. Unfortunately, this video is part of the problem. Africa is a continent. There are 54 countries, hundreds of ethnicities, and over 1,000 languages. Talking about Burundi and Ghana in the same video makes about as much sense as talking about Albania and Switzerland in the same video. Just because they are on the same continent does not mean they have the same issues. Beyond being dumb, looking at Africa as one country also makes us think it is doing worse than it actually is. South Sudan and the Central African Republic are having a difficult time right now. 52 other countries are doing okay. In fact, most countries are doing better than they have in centuries. But if you only look at Africa when someone is starving or when people are shooting at each other, you are going to get the wrong idea. The facts are pretty amazing. After decades of post-independence instability, most African countries are rising. There are 54 different bundles of reasons for this, but there are some general themes that we can touch on quickly.
First, there is this. Africa is experiencing a communications revolution. Farmers and fishermen know how much their produce is actually worth. People can access banking through their cell phones. Whole classes of predatory middlemen are being cut out, and real growth is being experienced across Africa. Another good thing is China. African countries finally have another source for technology and investment. It's not just the West anymore. The Chinese have a lot of money, and they are building roads. Roads are even more important for development than cell phones are. The Chinese aren't any more interested in African success than the Americans or the Europeans are, but they don't pretend to be. They just want access to raw materials. And this has permanently reset commodities prices worldwide. Africa now has new markets that it can rely on for its agricultural produce and mineral wealth.
These facts are readily available, but they get drowned out. After Nelson Mandela, which African leader has the most name recognition? Probably Joseph Kony, the murderous leader of a band of child soldiers. Why don't we hear more about Joyce Banda, the woman whose first act as Malawian president was to sell off the presidential plane and fleet of cars? Why don't we hear more about Paul Kagame, who has helped Rwanda to move beyond its genocidal history to GDP growth of 8% a year? Neither of these figures are heroes. Each of them has real flaws, but they are infinitely more interesting than another bloody thug like Joseph Kony. Unfortunately, Kony's story, the old story of blood and suffering, is the main story that we hear about Africa, because that's the story that the news media knows how to tell. Africa's 54 countries can tell so many better stories. Come back next time and we'll try to tell one or two. You can subscribe by clicking this button right here, or you can follow the link in the description below to our email newsletter. Thanks for listening.